Welcome everyone, Dr. Thor here with another fascinating mind training tool. Mind gym tools. You gotta pump that psychic iron if you want to be powerful and have extreme abilities. It's all about developing it, not having it. Here's a fantastic tool I always love. I use this frequently. And these are things that we actually have been able to obtain and have a few in stock. And I always like to be able to review things that are actually available. This was made by Ideal, which was a big toy company in the 60s into the 70s. They even made action figures called Captain Action, which were popular for some time. But Ideal was a big toy company that eventually was sold, I believe, to Hasbro, who's taken over most of its designs. But they made a lot of cool toys, and here is one of them again in that classic great time, 1960s. And this is one of the oldest that we've ever seen. I mean, this is older than all the other psychic tools that are usually on the market. This was sold, and this game comes from 1964. The Great Julian presents the game of ESP, Extra Sensory Perception. And this is one, of course, you can see how popular it was that they're actually making games. Now, I can't find anything on Julian. So I'm not sure he was another Kreskin type guy, but I can't seem to locate a single thing on him. If anybody knows anything about Julian, drop me a line. Let me know who this Julian guy was. I'm assuming that's a picture of him. But you know, Kreskin type people, Dunninger, Houdini. I mean, there's a lot of these different people. And of course, Houdini is still kept out there as this great escape artist and has followers. I don't know if another 50 or 60 years anybody will know who Kreskin is, even though he's left a lot of books. But this is another great ESP tool developed by him and others. And it's quite a fascinating little tool. Mind over matter. Look at that cool game board. And as I said, these are available. There'll be a link down there. You can go buy yours. We are going to have some specials on this. We have located several of these, so it's kind of exciting that you can get this great tool out there now. So 1964, that's an unbelievable amount of time. You're talking almost 70 years ago that this was made. Now, there are several games you can play. Now, you get this kind of Ouija board type thing here. I'm not sure you can see it too well. Like a planchette. You get this little kind of board, which the planchette rides on. You get these two big, thick, nice cardboard ESP symbol charts. One with letters. One with these typical ESP symbols. But you notice all these ESP symbols are slightly different. They're not like Zener cards, which are basically copyrighted. You get little mini, these are the same thing that are on these two other things here, but they're little card decks. You get two game pieces to go around the board. And of course you get this cool, let's see if we can open it up here. Inside you got this kind of cool, this hot pink cool hypnotic design, mind over matter. You got this cool little pink tray. And you know, back then this was very unusual to get colors like this and so forth. So they, you know, Ideal put a good amount of energy into it. Here's the actual games, and let me go in here and hopefully we can get some clarity here. So in case somebody really wants to stop the camera and figure out how this goes, we can kind of do it. Here shows you the setup of the parts. put it on here and prop it up a wee bit. This is real guerrilla photography. I usually don't do this, but to get through all these things in a relatively short period of time, we have to do this kind of gonzo type. Let's go in here. Ideal Toys. Oh, I stated wrong. From Hollister, New York, 1967. So I guess it's that same time that Kreskin came out and all the other ones. It's all in that time frame. So that must have been a huge year for Psychic, ESP in particular. It was the late 60s where it became a very popular, and people studied this thinking this was going to be the savior of the world. This was what's going to change the rotten world we live in. And it probably would have. But the problem with the 60s generation and their kiddies is that they all sold out. Of course, everybody sells out, but they certainly didn't achieve much and didn't put much time and money into it. Here there was a populace, and of course, you know, there are endless schools and courses out there that were teaching this, and the amount of books written in the 60s and 70s is incredible, including a lot of college courses, institutions that were out there. I'm going to show you the actual game board here. Get this so we can position it right. So it's a little better. Get a little better going here. But here's the actual game board. And you can play this as a game and not as a tool. I use them as a game, but if you have people together and you want to play, you know, competition does tend to help people, force them to try and get results from the ESP. You know, rewarding yourself for doing something right, more than a slap on the back or a thank you, is a great motivation. And your inner magical being is a baby that wants to be given lollipops. You don't give it lollipops, and it's going to go back to sleep. Excuse me. So it's kind of here's the beginning and the end. You go around the board. Of course, you're supposed to work in the center here. There's actually little holes here where you can put your holders in and that go with that. But you put the plastic things on. We're going to show you that as well here if you want to do it more efficiently. But I have limited space here to film properly without it getting back too far. The board is just some sort of little, how can we call that, a psychedelic pattern? Was he high when he did it? But you go around the board to the end here by getting your rest. So every time you get a correct answer, you move in. Here's the game pieces, which is kind of cool. Little pyramid, then a round pyramid. So you move down the board there, and you could play this with more than 2 people if you desire, but that's the particular board. The board is not very thrilling. I mean, it's kind of a boring concept. You think they would have come up with something a little better. Now let's show a basic demonstration here. See what we can do to show you how it fits on here. And we'll show you how you can use this. Now, there's several ways to use this, and we do have an exclusive training audio that tells you how to use this here as well. When you buy a game, you get access to that training video, that training audio, which shows you actually how to do it. So what you do is, let's pick here. These are letters. And this goes, basically, you take this and insert it in here. Do that right. So, well, it's probably not in there correctly. Let me put this down so we can kind of get this in here correctly. Then I'll come back. So this fits in here, and then you have little feet here that kind of go into the board here. And this is to stabilize the board so you can move it around. Okay, so you put it in there. You've now got that stabilized. And to pull back here a wee bit. So it's stabilized in there. You then use your little planchette. Now this is kind of like a Ouija board thing. Okay, which moves around on here. Really a cool concept, and you know, you can use a Ouija board for psychic training as well. Now you get out the little card things. Let me put this down here to pull these out. Now you have the miniature cards here, which have, you get 6 of them with the 6 here. So you get the same things that are on here. These little cards are on here. So you take the cards and you shuffle them. You have a 1 in 6 random chance here of what's on there. And then, of course, what you want to do is, what is the card on the top here? So you shuffle them, as I just showed you. You shuffle all the cards. Then you put them over here. And then you want to know what's the top card here. So you pull this card off and you concentrate on it. Okay? What card, which one of the 6 here is this? And then, like with always, energy flows through the left, so you get your left hand, and you concentrate. Well, which one is it? Is it, are you sensing? Do you feel that card right there? Okay. Let's see here. What card is that? Is it the E? You feel that? Rub it over. Do you feel it? You can feel a stick or just a pops in your head. Is it an R? Is it an L? Is it an A? How about a G? How about an N? So you can do this, and now you can change, find out what card is it if you want to. You can then show the card, and you will move ahead 1 or not. Or you can have your friend do it. Well, you try it. If you're working with somebody else, you try it. See what you get. And whoever guesses the card, whoever gets it right, you should stay away from guessing. It's a terrible term. We all use it. I mean, they say ESP card guessing. Well, it shouldn't be guessing. You should feel the image come into you. So the whole idea is you feel it. I feel a little drag here over the E. Of course, it's very hard to concentrate here with everything else, but let's try it. I'm feeling that this card is the E. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I was right, and I didn't rig that, people. That's 100% Super Psychic Thor. So here we go, is that I was able to, I felt a rub here, and that's what you feel. Similar, you get the same kind of things when you tune into radionic equipment. You get a rub, are you sensing it? But I could feel strongly this was an E. Now, if you want your friend to go, you then take these and you reshuffle the cards and do the same thing. And then they pick a card, and then they use this and go over, well, what is that card? And you're supposed to feel it. Now, what's nice is that you also can do it with your classical ESP shapes here. And sometimes geometric shapes like this are better to psychically connect to. When things have form, like letters, sometimes your consciousness turns them off because they're too man-made. But that is not necessarily the case. You just got to try. The whole idea is that means you've got 12 different variances, and you always want to try things. And, of course, you've got the little mini cards here as well. Now, these have all the shapes on. So there's 6 cards here, 6 different shapes. So that's a great way to do it, and a fun way. Now, you don't need to use the board. You can take the board away and just use this, and I'll demonstrate that right now. Because the board's a little awkward, you don't need it, it's kind of big, it doesn't serve any purpose. It gets it more gamey-like, which you may or may not want. Because that may make it, you know, again, people say, it's a game, it's a toy, it's no good. Did some kid invent it? Did a baby make it? You know, if you're thinking like that, you're pretty goofy. But these are the problems we have with people that seem to can't get over that these are psychic tools. These are occult gym tools, and you need to get as many of these as you can and use them often. Use the same tool all the time and you become dumb. But you can see this gives you a good, exciting process to go through because you have this board. So, and the cards. Now, making it more game-like, I think, does kind of make it awkward and goofy. So the whole idea is then you put this one underneath. Here's the one that have the actual images. And you do the same thing with the card. What card is that on top? Of course, again, here's the game pieces. So you actually do that, and then of course, I do like this little planchette you get with it. It's just plastic, but it's got these little feet on it. And you go around and you say, well, which one is it? Feel it. You know, use your left hand, sense the card, then go back with your left hand again on there and start moving it. What do you feel? Disconnect. Don't think. Feel. Is it the star? How about this one? And you go through, and this is a great way to use it.